News, politics, entertainment, and more. Welcome to The Informant. Independent talk, pursuing truth, informing everyone. Now, here is The Informant, Eric Thompson.
Hey, good evening. Welcome to The Informant. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're out there in the East Coast, good morning to you. I'm on here Monday through Friday, so if you missed today's show and you're listening on Spreaker on a playback, I'm on here live. 10 o'clock out here in California, 1 o'clock out in the East Coast, as I'm bringing The Informant show to you. And this is kind of a recap of the day because if you're up still, you may be working the mid-shift, or you may be working the midnight hours, burning the midnight hours like I did when I was in security. And so you may be up to speed or may not be up to speed on what's going on. And there's a couple primary stories, and we're going to cover today. But if you ever want to get a hold of me, you can go on my website, the-informant.com. That'll give you links to my social media sites. And like I said, go over to Spreaker, look up The Informant. And also, hopefully soon, maybe I'll be on a couple of radio stations, but we'll see how that plays out. So for all the updates, go to the-informant.com and also over to magabook.com. That is my social media alternative to Facebook. Small 5,000 patriots that are on there that are talking about things and not getting silenced. So you are always welcome over there. To kick off the show today, there is no justice in Chicago, period. We know that it is by far the leading murder capital of the United States. There's more people getting killed with guns than pretty much the whole rest of the country combined because it's lawlessness, because it is a hyper-progressive state that taxes a lot. And then the people that cannot afford the taxes end up in the lower income parts of town. And then their hands are out. Gimme, 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 gimme. So then you have these two parts of town. Well, then the people that are poor, they aren't living the life of the people they can see that are doing well. And so they start running drugs. And then you have the gangs. And then you have the shootings. And so you have... according to one report I heard, so many people filing false police reports, they're backed way up. Now, I don't know if they're filing the reports for insurance reasons or why, but there's a lot of problems in Chicago. Well, here is one that is probably going to stay with them for quite a while because pretty much, including a grand jury that was paneled, and they had said, you know what, Jussie Smollett lied to the police. So they were convened and they said yes. So Jussie Smollett was waiting to go to court after posting bond for 16 counts of disorderly conduct, which included lying to the police about a hate crime. Now, I have a story later of 7 people of what happened to them when they did something similar. And what didn't happen to these 7 people we'll get to later is they just didn't wake up one day and the state attorney says, you know what, Jussie Smollett, you went and hung around Jesse Jackson for a couple days, community service, quote unquote, and you're willing to give up that $10,000 in bond. Well, then you know what? We're just going to let you go. And we're going to seal the 16 counts in the grand jury indictment. We're going to just expunge those. So, Jussie, even though the police department wants you to be for justice to play out, even though the mayor, even though the whole country, for some reason, we're just going to let you walk. Now, how does that make you feel? Even the left, even the mayor, Rahm Emanuel, who was under the Obama administration, is furious. We have 2 tiers of justice in America. there's parts of our country that function like banana republics. If you're wealthy, if you're in the know, if whatever you want to say, if you know people in high places and people owe you favors, or they want to give you a favor because they want you to help them in return, then the laws don't apply the same way to you as they apply to the average person. And that's what's happening. So there's an article here from CBS Chicago. Jussie Smollett, charges dropped. Quote, his record has been wiped clean, unquote. This is from Charlie DeMar. Today, 10 o'clock p.m. Chicago, less than 2 weeks after Empire actor Jussie Smollett pled not guilty to 16 counts. Not one, not two. Grand jury only heard part of the evidence and said, yes, there's plenty here to take him to court. But he pled not guilty to 16 counts of disorderly conduct for allegedly lying to police about a hate crime. Now, he is a black homosexual wealthy actor that hates President Trump. And if you go back through his tweets prior to this event, did not hide his feelings at all. But a lot of people in the Empire staff and in even the writers, which we'll get to, that are mocking everybody that wanted justice in this case. It says, quote, now listen to this. Everybody knows he's guilty. The two guys from, from Africa that he hired to do a fake mobbing of him. So he saying that, they had MAGA hats on and they were saying this is Trump country. So they have checks that he wrote to the guys, $3,500 each. There's video of them buying the hats and the bleach and everything that was used. Guilty to the core. But doesn't matter in Chicago. It doesn't matter in D.C., right, Hillary Clinton? It just doesn't. And this is that growing frustration. Because to make it even worse, okay, so you have a guy here that's a homosexual. So hate crimes, which I don't even think make any sense to me, because if you beat somebody up, it's hateful. But let's just go with what's in place, okay? So he makes up a story that says that he was beat up because he's a black man, he's homosexual, and he's rich, and he was beat up by he was beat up by Trump supporters wearing MAGA hats. Now, these quote-unquote hate laws were written because there are bigots in every race and situation in the world, and it's unfortunate. So I'm not defending any actions by any bigot. But here's a guy, and this is why the police commissioner is so mad. This is a guy that lied. So he used the race card, which now he diminishes temporarily to a minimum degree, that, hey, if somebody is of a minority status, quote unquote, and they say they were beat up because of their race, you better dig a little much deeper before you believe him. Then he says that they were calling him the homophobic words. So now he's bringing in his sexual preference. But it was a lie. So all these groups that have been trying to protect someone like him from our vicious world, even though everybody still wants to move here, he just basically mocked them all by putting them all into a lie, trying to cause division between Trump supporters and Trump haters. Now, even though it's all there, grand jury, everything, everybody, this is what he said. Quote, I would not, he's going to bring his mom into this, okay? I think the guy's a sociopath. Look it up. Can't help lying, angry, narcissistic. I would not be my mother's son if I was capable of doing what I was accused of, unquote. Smollett said after prosecutors dropped all the charges. Quote, I'd like nothing more than to just go back to work and move on with my life. But make no mistakes, I will always continue to fight for justice, equality, and betterment of marginalized people everywhere, unquote. Is that shocking or what? Here is this is the announcement, the broadcast from Chicago, the Channel 2, and let's hear them kind of explain it from the Chicago side.
They still believe Jussie Smollett falsely reported a hate crime and still stand behind the Chicago Police Department's investigation, but money and community service apparently enough to make it all go away.
We dropped all charges based on the fact that he did community service and that he forfeited his bail.
Joe McGat's the prosecutor who dropped all 16 felony counts against actor Jussie Smollett. He's in charge because his boss, Kim Fox, recused herself.
Our priority is violent crimes and the drivers of violence. Jussie Smollett is neither one of those.
This morning, Jussie Smollett went into court for an emergency hearing lasting only minutes.
Not for a moment was it in vain. Every single level since day one.
Smollett was accused of hiring brothers Ola and Abel Osendaro to stage a racist and homophobic attack. Our cameras were allowed exclusive access inside the brothers' home after police raided it, removing evidence. And we first showed you the surveillance of the brothers buying supplies for the staged attack. We caught up with them at an amateur boxing match last week. The state's attorney says the brothers continue to cooperate in the case.
I would not be my mother's son if I was capable of one drop of what I've been accused of.
But not everyone is celebrating.
Do I think justice was served? No. I think this city is still owed an apology.
This is without a doubt a whitewash of justice and sends a clear message that if you're in a position of influence and power, you'll get treated one way, other people will be treated another way.
Tonight, Mayor Rahm Emanuel continuing to hammer home that message on national TV.
To me, it makes no sense. It makes no legal sense, no common sense, and this is an abomination in my sense of justice. He actually committed the crime. There is a hoax here, but then he's walking around like he's exonerating.
Jussie, how do you feel? $10,000 in bond money, 16 hours of community service, and just like that, 16 felony counts wiped away.
I would not bring my family, our lives, or the movement through a fire like this. I just wouldn't.
Now, the FBI is still investigating that threatening letter that police say Smollett sent to himself, and it's unclear right now if federal charges could come from that investigation. And earlier today, the FBI had no comment. Live in the newsroom tonight, Charlie DeMar, CBS 2 News, Brad and Erica.
All right, Charlie, thank you.
All right, well, there you go. So there is from the Chicago news side, and there's Smollett. My mother, I couldn't be my mother's son if because I couldn't be capable of what everybody in the world knows that I did. You heard that the head of the police department. No, of course, there's no justice here. And then you get down here, and this, as a Christian, there's certain phrases that drive me nuts. And here's one of them. This is what Smollett said. Quote, I am a man of faith. Now here comes your social justice warrior. I am a man who has knowledge of my history. And I would not bring my family or lives or the movement through a fire like this. What is the movement? Well, if you go back and look at his tweets prior to this, you'll see the movement. Anti-Trump, basically he's a social justice warrior, just all bordering on racist. So to finish up the article, Cook County prosecutors agreed to drop the charges against Smollett at the unscheduled hearing in the case Tuesday morning. Smollett's going to forfeit $10,000 bail he posted after his arrest. And he did serve a whopping, let's see, how many hours did he serve? It was it 16 hours? or 18 hours. I think it was, let's see here. Oh, he actually served